guys, it's Clara. Welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to show you the current state of our garden. We just moved, so I haven't done a ton of planting. I've been kind of waiting to see what pops up here and there. The previous owners did a pretty good job at keeping stuff mulched and trimmed and having plants where there should be plants. So there's not a lot of work that I have to do. I found this plant the other day, which was kind of a nice surprise. So I don't know. Do any of you know what kind of plant this is? I don't know. It's really pretty. It's not too fragrant, but I just think it's really, really pretty. And I've been trying to train it today to go up this little trellis, but it might be too late. It is so jumbled and I'm afraid I'm gonna break it or something. So anyway, we have that, and then over in this area I'm hoping to eventually put a playscape with, you know, just a small one with a swing or two and a slide for my daughter, but we're kind of working out the drainage issues there, and you can kind of see the lawn needs some work. And I think we might have to train our dog to go at a specific spot because I don't want all these pea, you know, circles where they kill the grass. I don't want that all over the place. So anyway, so we're hoping to put something here. I hope to eventually do a raised garden bed here. I can see our neighbor across the way there did that as well. My only concern though is the pests. So there's a lot of rabbits, and I've seen a few squirrel nests up here. I've seen the squirrels themselves. So I don't know if it's that feasible, and I've heard it's kind of hard to garden in this area as far as edibles. And look at these cute little flowers that just popped up this week. Cute. I have to pull out that weed right there. It's not a weed, but it's a growth that shouldn't be there. And then this is my only plant that I took from the condo. Everything else I had left. And I'm happy to see that it is starting to have a little bit of green. So this was a lavender plant. But I found that as I walk around the perimeter of the garden, in the front I noticed this huge bushy plant. It smelled so good, and then I realized that that is also a lavender plant. So I have plenty of lavender. I don't need to get any more if that one dies. So this is the current vegetation. These hostas are humongous, and these lilies popped up as well. These grew pretty fast. There's a spot here, I believe that the squirrel dug up the lilies because I saw the squirrel digging in here. So squirrels definitely are brave enough to come up on the patio, which is a concern because that is where I have my container garden. So I have the container vegetables at two different locations of the patio just to kind of play around to see what the sun will be like here. I'm not home during the morning, so I don't know what it's like. And I wasn't too concerned about squirrels coming up on the patio for the vegetables until this morning when I saw a squirrel on top of my daughter's table. So I don't know, I might have to build a chicken wire cage to kind of go over a section of the potted vegetables. I don't know. If you've made that before, like with wood or PVC piping, let me know. So I'll just go over really quickly what I have. My mother-in-law was so awesome, and she bought this sunflower plant and planted it in one of our pots we already have, so that's really nice. I'm experimenting too with combining lettuces and kale, so in different size pots. So this is a small medium, and it has the lacinato. I love this kale. This is the dinosaur kale, named because the skin is dark and it kind of looks like a dinosaur's back, I guess, but it is so good, and it's such a dark taste. I love it. Some bib lettuce, some other kinds of lettuce, all in one pot. They seem to be doing pretty well in that little itty bitty pot. So I've heard you can bunch them together, which is really cool. And then this time around, I am going to use marigolds throughout the garden. I have planted them in bits and pieces here and there throughout the perimeter, but evidently the squirrel didn't care. So but I was hoping to deter pests like rabbits, that kind of thing. So this is a sun sugar tomato. This is by far my favorite tomato to grow. I've only grown a few kinds, but they're small and they're citrusy. They're orange, yellow in color, and they're just so delicious. And they produce a lot in these pots. So I bought this pot at Walmart, and I just have one of those drainage trays under each of these pots. And I made sure to put the trellis in advance. You want to put the trellis early because if you put it too late, then when you stick the rods in, you might interfere with the root system, and you don't want to harm the roots at all. And then over here is where I have the bulk of my vegetables. So like I said, I'm experimenting. So I have the same kind of sun sugar tomato plant over here. I have a lacinato kale here. There's a marigold. This one, I believe, this one is a pepper plant. So the pepper plants I got are like the bell peppers, the red and the yellow and the orange bell pepper. Here I combined the bell peppers. I have a green bean plant in there and a kale plant as well. And I put a trellis there in advance. Here I have a couple of zucchini plants. I've never grown zucchini in a 5-gallon bucket before, but I've read over and over that you certainly can. I've tried to grow them in these kinds of containers before, the long ones, but I ended up not getting enough sun at our condo, so they just molded out and I got nothing. So we will see how this one goes, and they're going to get pretty big. So, and then over here I have another trellis. This is for another green bean plant, and this one is all by its lonesome with some marigolds. Here I have a bunch of lettuces with a marigold in the center, and this is flourishing quite nicely. A couple of kale with a marigold in the center, a marigold in a Dollar Tree pot that somebody had given me. A couple of pepper plants here, a pepper and a couple different lettuces, a couple of kale and a lettuce. And then these two planters I bought at clearance, on clearance at Target. So again, I'm experimenting with size, so these seem to be flourishing pretty well. I have learned that with the lettuces you have to be careful with caterpillars and moths, but there hasn't been that much of an issue here. I haven't seen any, and it's probably because there's so many birds in these trees. But I've been watching a lot more closely this time around, looking for eggs and larvae. And I've also started spraying them this week with a spray that somebody at Home Depot recommended. And then over here was a bit of a surprise. I had planned to do an herb garden, and I didn't realize I already had one. My cousin had to point that out to me when she brought me some herbs from her garden. And yeah, it just kind of has to fill in. This basil is looking pretty sad though. I don't think it's getting enough water there, so I might have to replace the soil around here. And here's some thyme, some extra marigolds that I can move around the garden if I need to. That's an extra green beans plant I had, and I really have to clean up. I mean, the not so good thing about living near a lot of trees is you really get a lot of debris and seeds and all sorts of stuff. And this flowering thing is a chives plant, which was pretty cool. I thought it was like a decorative grass. So it just goes to show you it's a learning process. And then there's some oregano there, and then the oregano that my friend gave me, or my cousin, excuse me, and then a sage plant. And I think that is pretty much it as far as the vegetation goes. I think this one too is a lavender plant. It's just this random plant, but it smells just like lavender. So I'm excited for that. I love having lavender, and I've heard that it can deter pests. So, and I'm relocated. This was a dying plant that my friend had given me, but it's starting to have a bit of green at the bottom here. It's another thyme plant, so I had some empty space here, decided to put it here. And I had a couple extra of zucchini. So again, I'm experimenting, and these are obviously not in containers, but I didn't replace a ton of the soil around here, so we'll have to see how they do. Compared to the zucchini in the containers, these are definitely a lot smaller. So I might have to play with the soil a little bit more, otherwise I'm not going to get anything from them. But anyway, so that is the state of our current garden. If you have any advice, I would love to hear it. I know a lot of people on here do some gardening, KDK, Pam, I think Deb does some gardening. If you have any advice, please let me know, especially Couponing Girl. I know she's a country girl, so hopefully she can give me some advice as far as preventing pests, what I need to watch out for, pruning, soil, all that sorts of good things. I haven't done a whole lot. I mixed some potting soil with old soil that I had, and I added some Epsom salt. I believe that adds magnesium, I think. Um, and as it gets warmer, I'll eventually be adding that mulch hay to more of the plants if the soil is exposed, so that it doesn't lose too much moisture. But you have to be careful with that. I think I've heard that it can lead to mold. But anyway, so I'll stop talking. Let me know if you have any advice. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.